Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Volunteers Chat here in the AUM Web Radio. Today it's a very special episode with a very special person, William. Welcome back, Willie.
Thank you for receiving me. I'm honored.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you back here again. I don't think we can count how many times you came back to Sighișoara. It's quite difficult now, but at least this time we took the opportunity to have this episode with you. Thank you.
Yes, finally.
So, as usual, we're gonna start discovering you. So please tell us about yourself, like who are you, from where are you?
Ooh la la, this seems like an interview job. Well, I'm William. I think probably the people that will hear it will already know me at this point. But yeah, I'm William. I'm 24. I come from France, but more precisely from Martinique, which is an overseas, let's say, island in Central America. Let's put it that way. So I'm like very far away from Sighișoara. And yeah, I came in AUM in 2020 for a project. And ever since that, I came and I came back and I left and then I came back. Yes, I cannot even really count the actual amount of time I spent here.
Yeah, I think now you have the record of the longest stay in Sighișoara out of our volunteers.
Yeah!
Congratulations. I think the last record was Adela, as I know, or something. Yeah, I think it was Adela last summer. She set the last record, and now you have the new one. So bravo.
Thank you.
We don't have any prize, but maybe in the future, like next year when you're coming back or something. Like.
When I am coming back, it's not even if, it's when.
I mean, come on, you are half Romanian already.
That is true. Bună dimineața.
Okay, so you already said that your first project was in 2020.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit of your experience here in our association, like about your projects, because it was not the only one, and what was about, what happened there.
So basically my project was called Plus Make a Difference, which, side note, I really like the name. And basically it was about like making some workshops in high schools to sensibilize, to raise awareness, it's a better word, about bullying issues. The thing is that the team was kind of in two parts. Like the first part of the team arrived in October 2019, and so they were there for like 3 months, and then I arrived in mid-January. So then the team was fully completed when me and I think 7 other people came, although 2 left 24 hours after the beginning of the project. But yeah, so my contract was for 9 months until September, but with a possibility of staying a little bit longer, which I did. So I ended up staying almost a year. Like I left in December, so we can say a year.
And after that, you went back to France.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I came back home in Martinique because it was a little bit like I needed money and everything, and I didn't really handle that very well at the end of the project. So I had to go back to Martinique. I stayed for like 9 months, maybe 9 months. I don't really remember well. Time is a bit blurry for me now, but I was thinking maybe I could go back for a short term. That would be nice. 2 months, it's short, so it would be intense, but it's cool that way. And I knew they were doing like some short terms because I did the short term the year before around the same time, like October, December. So I was like, let's go for the one in October. It would be with like not the same team, but it was kind of some people that I heard about. So I was like, I'm familiar with the association, so why not? So I came back from October to December 2021. And then after that, after this project, I came back in France, let's say for vacation. And then after I came back in Romania, but I live now in Bucharest. ever since mid-February.
Da. So, as I said, you're already half Romanian. Come on.
I mean, yes, the past 2 years and something, half of my time was in Romania. Yeah.
Cool. And what did you decide to be a volunteer in AUM Association? Like, how did you take that decision?
Honestly, it was kind of like a build-up because before I even like find about AUM and ESC actually, I was kind of in a tough situation in France. I was studying in the south of France, and then I went to a youth center, and they had like the solidarity project in Europe. But the thing is that I had to go home like really quickly, and I forgot about those things. And it's thanks to my mom that kind of put back the idea in my mind, and I love to say that story because it's so funny. She told me, "Oh, I have a friend, daughter of a friend." She told me, "Yeah, she's doing a project. It's solidarity in Europe. It's for free." So I was like, "Ooh, for free? This sounds a little bit crazy. I think there is a problem there." And then I literally Googled European Solidarity Project for free. And then I came across the website ESC. I was like, oh, this is very nice. Huh? So then I started to apply to a lot of projects, obviously in more like, how do you say that, mainstream destinations like Spain, Portugal, Italy and stuff like that. And then very quickly, even like a couple of days after, I was like, why do I like only go for the obvious stuff? Just try another country that you would never think in a million years you would go. So I decided Romania. Actually, I applied for the 2 projects because there were like 2. Love is, oolala.
The answer?
No, it was not the answer. Was it the answer? Probably that. But it was about sexual education.
Either Love is the answer, either Love Actually.
Okay, so it's Love is the answer,
Yeah.
but it was the long one. So the other one was 6 months, mine was 9. And I was like, let me apply for both. And I got the answer for Plus Make a Difference. And really, like, they were super fast to answer me. I was a bit skeptical. I was like, is it an actual thing? Romania? Blah, blah, blah. But then actually, I went along with the process, which went really fast. Like in 1 week, I was already accepted, and then they sent me the papers and everything. And I was like, okay, let's go to Romania. But it was really like a little bit of a spontaneous decision because this is bad, but I didn't tell anything to my mom until I was really, really sure. I almost like paid the ticket, and then it was like maybe a month before. I said, yeah, I'm going to Romania, by the way. She was like, what? And my sister, for instance, I told her a week and a half before my departure. So I was like, I'm going to keep it as private as possible to be sure I will go in Romania and just leave whatever I have to leave there.
Yeah, don't let them time to get stressed or nervous, about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. And I don't know, like, tell us about something that you change in yourself during these projects. I mean, I know because we talked already about this, and I know that a lot of things change, but I don't know, maybe the main things.
I think the main thing, and it's kind of like what I like to tell people also, is that I know myself better. For instance, like whenever I would have a job interview before Romania, and they would ask me, oh, what are your strengths and what are the things that, let's say, you need to improve or some things like that, I would always struggle, and I would even rehearse in advance, be like, okay, maybe I can say this, and I'm like that. Like the only thing I could come up about myself is that I'm smart. I'm like, oh my god, this is just not enough.
And modest.
Oh, definitely, come on. But yeah, I was always struggling with that, and I was like, I don't really even know myself, and I would always praise myself by saying, ooh, I think a lot, and blah blah blah, and I'm doing introspection. And during the project and after the project, I could really feel like I knew myself better, and I could like identify my strength, what I'm good at, and it's like a big game changer because it gave me more confidence, and also it allowed me to be more open about what I like, what I dislike, who I am as a person, and even for the future, like being around other people. So that's probably the biggest thing I take away from it.
Nice. And I think that actually is like one of the main goals of these projects, for the volunteers to take some time for themselves and to reflect about what's happening with their life and everything. And
Yeah.
So you succeed with that.
I mean, specifically because it's not, how do you say that? I will always say we were a special year because, as I mentioned, 2020, so I think it should ring a bell for everybody, was a COVID year. So I think my group, like we were 20, we had an incredible amount of time to reflect about ourselves. So I think it kind of accelerated the process for us. And a day felt like, I don't know, 5 years. So, and I would even joke with my other friends, and we're like, oh my God, it's only 3 months we know each other, but it feels like it's 5 years, Jesus Christ. But because being quarantined altogether, because I was in a house with 5 other people, like it's intense, but you get triggered, and also you have the good moments. But I don't know, like in 3 weeks, you know yourself way much more than I think. For me, for the past like 21 years before that, so it was really a game changer for me.
Nice. And now maybe let's going on the other side. What was the biggest challenge for you related to living abroad?
I would say the biggest challenge for me, I think about 2. Which one? I would say the most obvious one is, I would say, my background. Like I come from an island, I am black, and I would say it's not necessarily the fact that I'm black, but it's related to that because I come from an island, and it's not like I don't have the same things as everybody else has in Europe, but there are like, like some cultural things or so common so-called things like that all of the, I don't know, like European youngsters live with or how used to, that I wasn't used to. And I also come from like I had a different kind of education, so nothing too crazy, nothing like drinking alcohol, for instance, or things like that. It was not really in my day-to-day life, or I don't know, just the fact of going in for a beer, or it was not really something I was used to, and was something that I got introduced to in Romania, but that was something I was actually looking for. But it was sometimes challenging because I was feeling like I'm not really matching not the vibe, but I need to
The
kind of
habits
catch up.
or something, yeah.
I need to catch up with that. So sometimes it was a bit heartbreaking for me because I felt like I missed a lot, and now I kind of need to catch up. But I mean, I think I did a pretty good job now. I catch up.
I mean, now that I'm thinking, for example, you are like very matching the vibe of the group, or like the spirits around the volunteers, But of course, I didn't know you in that moment when you came, for your first 9 months. So I don't know how you were in that moment, how you were when you came here and everything, and like how long it took to you to get used with this.
But I still think like I have some kind of things from it, since the most lovable nickname people like to call me is like the grandpa, because it's like a part of me, obviously, because I grew up like this. So I have my own pace and I like to do my own stuff, but I catch up pretty well. But I was a really totally different person 2 years ago. Really.
Cool. So tell us then about a wow moment that you had in the first project, second project, third project.
A wow moment.
Yeah, the most wow moment, or like the first wow moment that came in your mind now.
Okay, there are many, but I think I will go in the beginning, because the first, no, but it's true.
No, I was I was just thinking about another wow moment, but maybe it's not that good to mention here.
I don't think so. PSA. Well, I think I will take the first night. The first night I arrived in Sighișoara, because obviously, I mean, it's the first time I'm around in like other people from other countries, and we had a WhatsApp group, so the coordinators, like Anna and Flory, they send like some pictures. This is the guys that you're going to be working with and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, you have an image of what they look like and where they're from also. So I was like, okay, that's cool, but still I'm stressed. I don't know, will they accept me, will they like me, like, oh my god, how is it going to be? Maybe I will quit after 5 days or whatever. And I was in the bus, so I don't know, it kind of had a little bit of more stress. I don't know how to explain it. It was in the night, like it was around 11. I was like, oh my god. And then I get out of the bus. I was like, William, be cool. Okay, just show your best self. Like, I even rearranged the way I was. Yes, I even rearranged the way I was dressing, because obviously I was kind of sleeping in the bus. I was like, okay, do you look good? Okay, you need to put your glasses perfectly, and then breathe. And then when I came out, there was a French guy who was like, oh, this is the French guy, with a very strong, fake French accent. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to be fine. And then I just, like, everybody, oh my god, this was actually funny. Like, the 15 other people that were already there, they were all there in the train station, bus station, and I was like, oh my god, this is a lot of people. And I was like, oh my god, wow, Jesus Christ. And then we went to one of the volunteers' apartment for like a welcome party. And then it was so much people, and people asking me so much question, who I am, where I'm from, and blah blah blah. And I was like, wow, this is a lot happening at the same time, and people drinking, having fun, and I was like, oh la 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 la, where am I? Like, I was just amazed to see how much was happening and how many information I was taking at the same time, but it was in a good way. I was like, wow, okay, I'm really in something completely different that I am not used, but it was really cool. So I would say that.
I think it's very, very difficult, to expect that before coming here, because obviously, like, everyone have some expectations, even if you are trying to don't have any. For sure you have,
Yeah.
And I think they were not matching your expectations, like the reality at all.
No, not at all. Like, I didn't even expect like a party. I was like, what is going on? Like, oh my god. But it was cool. And just to switch and speak in English, because not to be but I know I speak very well English, but to speak actually English like as the prime language, I was like, oh my god, this is so weird. I'm not used to this. Ooh, la, 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 la. Like, my brain was like, oh, so many things. And I always, during that night, always remember I went with one of the other volunteers to pick up one of the new person, and that person stayed with me in the bus station. And he started to tell me, oh, what is your life experience? I didn't hear, I wasn't there. And I started to tell him, I was like, wow, okay, this is really cool. And me, I did this. I was in the Canary Island doing some photography work for National Geography. And I did this 2 years ago. And then I did this 5 years ago. I was like, what are those people? So many things they are doing. What the fuck? So it was actually nice. And I still remember that conversation, because I was like, I feel like this is the beginning of something for me that will change my life. I don't know in what way, but it was like I had a good feeling after that.
Okay, and do you think this experience will help you in the future in some way, and how?
Oh, definitely. I mean, again, like, more. First of all, being self-aware, being more confident. I would say because those are the things that for me are really important, like kind of our core values. So I know it already helped me, and it still helps me. So I know whatever in the future, I will always, from time to time, go back to the moments that I have in AUM, because I know, okay, though this moment, that's why it clicked for me. This moment, yeah, I was struggling, but I remember it was because of this. So I have the same situation right now. So I can always like go back to those moments and kind of help myself, whether it's like right now, for instance, in the present, or in the future. Like, unless I'm having some kind of, I don't know, memory issue or whatever, but I will always remember those moments, and it will always help me. Like, whether it's with people, with myself, with work, with family, with whatever. Yeah,
actually it's nice, because you said that it already helped you, and I realized that basically you are already in the future, because already some time passed from your project, and it's really nice to observe that actually already helped you. And for sure, if it helped you until now, for sure it will help you more in the future.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, as I said, like, it was the beginning of something for me. I do feel like I'm kind of going into another phase of my life as I'm getting older. But because when I arrived, I was 21. Now I'm getting 24 next month. I mean, I don't know when this is going to be released, but I will be 24 in August. So I feel like this is kind of like a big chapter for me, but I feel like I'm going into something different, but I will still keep whatever lesson or whatever I learned from those 3 years into whatever is gonna go next for me.
And would you recommend ESC?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I already did actually.
I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
actually you are doing that
For sure. I mean,
also now. And why?
yeah, I mean, I think this is such an underrated program. I think more people should know about it. I think they should advertise it in every high school. Like, maybe not at 18, but I mean, you do whatever you want. But like, I think everybody should know about that possibility. I think it's amazing to be able to go in almost literally almost any European country to have. I'm sorry, but this is great also for me, for instance, for somebody that has low income, like come from not a like biggest background, to be able to travel, to get reimbursed, to have an accommodation, meet international people, having this experience in Europe, obviously doing the volunteering and being helpful for a community. I think it's just fulfilling in very, very, very a lot of ways. And I already recommend it to all of my friends, like all the possible friends that didn't know about it. I'm like, oh my God, but how did you find this? How is it possible? I was like, I know, right? This is crazy. And actually, I have a friend from Martinique that applied for a project in Spain, in a town kind of similar to the way Sighișoara is. Like, it's a really small town in Spain. I'm really hoping she will go through with the whole process, because I want her also to experience that. Because in my circle of friends, I'm the only one, not counting the volunteering friends, obviously, I'm the only one that did that. And sometimes it's complicated to make them understand how impactful it was. They can see how it changed, but none of them went through it. And I know if one of them is going through it also, like, they will understand more what was it about. Because there are some things I just cannot describe. Sometimes small moments that I always remember in the kitchen with some of my flatmates made also this experience like worthy. Like, it would be really stupid stuff, like watching some stupid videos at 1 a.m. In YouTube, but it was like a small bonding moment that is like, this is ESC, this is what it's meant to be. And I just love it. And I will probably do some short terms in the future, I know myself.
Yeah, I really like how you mention like a lot of things that ESC are offering, you know. And in the end, they're like offering so much, and like I think a lot of people are like joining, but maybe for different reasons, you know, and they're like taking more advantage of some of the things that ESC are offering than the others. But that's also like a really cool thing, you know, because I think everyone can find something useful for himself in this program.
Absolutely. But the thing that I say also, because I did recommend the SCRM to some volunteers that came after in AUM, and I was like, but please, like, keep in mind, you can also not enjoy it, but it's kind of up to you. Like, you don't have to force yourself and be like, oh, I have to be grateful. But it could be nice if you try a little bit and try to find something that you like in this environment. I think it can make the experience worth it, because come on, at one point in your life you can be, let's say, allowed to spend from, let's say, 2 months to
12.
1 year in a foreign country. I think this is amazing. Maybe even if, let's say, you don't like the project, or you don't like the people, for instance, but you're in a foreign country, you can travel. You can travel in other countries. You can meet other people. If it's let's say let's say Spain, you can meet Erasmus people. You can do so many things, and I feel like there is always, at least as you said, one thing that you will enjoy and that can make it worth it. But it's only if you allow yourself to like it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you, Will, for all your answers. And now we are getting close to the end of this episode, and in the end we have the last question. What does Asociația AUM means for you?
Growth. If I have to, I will, because I talk a lot, so I will sum up in one word. I would say growth, definitely. I will always look back at it as the place where I honestly realized myself, and that I know who I am, and that kind of shattered an image that I had of myself that I didn't necessarily appreciate it. And sometimes, life is hard and everything, so it's always kind of like a shining light in my life. I remember when I left the first time, I told something to Ada and Flory that I will share this private conversation. I said that I kind of lost the fire that I had within my soul. This is getting very deeper, but being there, experimenting this, I kind of feel like the fire came back, and that is probably the best reward I had in my life, best gift, whatever you want to call it. And I just feel like, okay, I need to feed the fire, but the fire will not disappear as before. The fire is still there, and I was really grateful for that.
Yeah, I think in this way we have a really similar experience with this association, because obviously I was a volunteer here before I became like a mentor, or like before I started to work here. And yeah, I think we had some similar experiences here, and maybe that's why we are also such good friends, no?
I do think that.
Yeah, it was a really nice discussion, and like, to be honest, I'm feeling touched after your last words. I don't know. I still don't know if I'm gonna cut this or not. We will see.
I let you fool. You do whatever you want.
I will decide later. But no, honestly, thank you for coming back here, for being part of the association, for doing so many things, and like, also, I noticed that everything that you did here, you're putting a lot of emotions and like, or your positive energy in that. So
thank you.
I
really appreciate you saying that. It means a lot.
Yeah. So this is the end of this episode. But don't worry, maybe in one more year we are gonna record another episode with William here in Sighișoara.
I'm gonna make the appointment in 2 years.
We will see. Maybe we are gonna create a special podcast with you, like every year, like taking out an episode. It was a pleasure. Check also the other episodes of Volunteers Chat with our previous volunteers. And see you later. Malu, Alessia, Lucas. Oh yeah, so many volunteers, and who knows who will be the next one. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, social media, like, share, subscribe, everything. We are out. Bye bye.
Deuces.